You think you're not near fire right now. You are wrong. Fire is running through every wire in your walls. Fire created the electricity powering the screen you're watching this on. Fire built the road outside your window. Fire is inside your body right now, breaking down the food you ate today. You have never been away from fire, not for a single second of your entire life. But here's the part that will change how you see yourself forever. You did not discover fire. Fire discovered what you could become. And 2 million years ago, it started rebuilding you from the inside out. 2 million years ago, your ancestor was barely human. The brain was small, about 1/3 the size of yours. The body was thin and weak. The stomach was enormous because digesting raw food takes enormous energy. Your ancestors spent most of each day just eating and most of each night just hiding. They looked almost exactly like an ape. And then one day, nobody planned what happened next. Maybe lightning struck a dry tree, maybe a volcanic rock landed on grass. A fire started somewhere out on the open savanna. Every animal on the savanna ran away from it. Your ancestor did not. They came closer. They felt the warmth. They smelled something different in the air, the flesh of an animal caught in the fire, and they reached out and took a piece of it. They ate cooked meat for the first time in the history of any creature on Earth. Nothing looked different that day. No city appeared. No language was suddenly spoken. The brain did not grow larger in a single afternoon. But the longest chain reaction in human history had just begun, and it is still running right now. Here is what nobody tells you about fire and food. Raw food takes enormous energy to digest. Your gut must work for hours just to pull basic calories from raw plants and raw meat. That is why other primates spend 6 to 8 hours every single day just eating. Their entire life is organized around the act of feeding. A campfire changes that completely. Cooked food is different. Heat breaks down the structure of food before it enters your body. Your gut does not have to work nearly as hard. The same piece of meat gives you far more energy when cooked than when raw. The same plant gives your body twice the calories after heat has worked on it. Harvard biologist Richard Wrangham studied this for decades. He found that when human ancestors began cooking food regularly, two things happened simultaneously. The gut shrank, it no longer needed to be enormous, and the brain grew, because all the energy that was no longer going to the gut went to the brain instead. This is not a small change. The human brain uses 20% of all the energy your body produces every day. It is the most expensive organ in your body by a large distance. Before cooking, your ancestors' bodies simply could not afford to grow a bigger brain. The energy was not available. After cooking, it was. Fire did not just warm your ancestors. Fire paid for the brain you're using right now. But fire did not stop there. Fire changed the night. Before fire, night belonged to everything that hunted your ancestors. Lions could see in the dark. Leopards moved silently through grass. Hyenas hunted in packs. Every night was a night your ancestors had to survive by staying completely still and completely quiet. They did not sleep easily, they slept in fear. A campfire changes that completely. A campfire creates a circle of light roughly 30 feet wide. Inside that circle, predators will not come. They see the fire and they stay back. And for the first time in human history, a group of people could sit down together after dark and simply exist, without hiding, without fear, without running. And what happened next was not planned. It was just what happens when human beings are finally safe enough to stop surviving and start living. They talked. Researcher Polly Wisner spent years recording conversations among people who still live original human way of life in the Kalahari Desert. She found something remarkable. During the day, most conversations were practical. Where is the food? Where is the water? Who has what and who owes what? But at night, around the fire, everything changed. More than 80% of night conversations were stories, myths, old memories, jokes, questions about why the world exists, descriptions of people who had died but lived on through the words used to describe them. The fire circle was the first school, the first court, the first theater, the first church. Language became deeper because the fire gave people hours to use it. Emotions became richer because the fire gave people safety to feel them. Stories became longer because the fire gave people a reason to keep listening. Everything that separates a human being from every other animal came out of a circle of firelight in the dark. And then fire kept going. Your ancestors discovered that fire does not just change food. Fire changes everything it touches. Heat on clay makes pottery. For the first time, humans could store water, store grain. Heat on metal ore pulls liquid copper from rock, copper shaped into tools. Then copper mixed with tin makes bronze. The world of metal began. Heat on iron ore makes the hardest material humans had ever held. The world changed shape because iron could be worked into any shape fire and hands decided on. Bricks are made by fire. Glass is made by fire. Steel is made by fire. Every material that has ever held up a wall in any building in any city in human history passed through fire first. The city is a fire product. The road is a fire product. The hospital is a fire product. Every structure humans have ever lived inside or walked past was built from materials that fire made possible, and then your ancestors put fire inside machines. The steam engine was a fire engine. Coal burned, water boiled, steam moved the pistons. The entire industrial revolution was fire organized into a new and faster shape. The factories that made the modern world burned around the clock for 200 years. And then fire moved inside wires. The electricity in your walls is almost entirely made by burning something: coal, gas, oil. Even nuclear power creates heat first and converts that heat into electricity. You believe you live in a world beyond fire. You live inside fire. You have always lived inside fire. You just cannot see it anymore. Here is what that actually means. Every technology you have ever touched is fire at a different stage of its journey. The phone in your pocket runs on electricity made by burning. The food in your stomach was cooked by burning. The building around you was constructed with materials made by burning. The vehicle that carries you was built in a factory powered by burning. Take fire out of human history, and you do not make humans less advanced. You remove humans entirely. There is no version of the human brain without the cooked food that built it. There is no version of human language without the safe fire-lit hours where language became complex and deep. There is no version of human civilization without the heat that turned raw rock into every structure humans have ever built. We did not use fire to build the world. Fire used us to build the world. We were the hands, the fire was the force. Tonight, somewhere on Earth, a child will sit near a fire for the first time. Maybe a campfire, maybe a candle, maybe the glow of a screen powered by electricity made by burning fuel 100 miles away. The child will look at it, they will reach toward it, and in that reaching, they will be doing exactly what every ancestor they have ever had has done. For 2 million years without a single break in the chain. Every brain that ever solved a problem was fed by cooking. Every story that was ever told was first told in a circle of firelight. Every city that ever stood was built from materials that fire created. You think fire is something your ancestors discovered and left behind when they became modern, but fire is not behind you. It is inside the walls around you. It is inside the engine of every vehicle moving on every road right now. It is inside your body converting yesterday's meal into the energy moving your thought. The fire your ancestor reached toward on the savannah 2 million years ago never went out. It just changed what it was burning, and it is still going. Hit that like and subscribe button for more such videos.